Because you feel like you're gonna fall. I still do that sometimes.
Bob, Sheila's going to go to the conference western wing,
Okay, yeah,
because you can't.
Are they on?
yeah, I just can't.
Testing.
In the future, I won't, but I've got.
Are not working?
Bills and I'm behind on the taxes. And
Yeah, because I don't hear anything. Can you hear me?
Tax bills tonight?
And there,
they'll go
but
out
you
on the
can't, can
28th.
people hear the speakers?
28th.
Because I don't hear anything.
They're
I gotta
saying,
get it to the printer next.
We'll speak loudly, so apparently we're having an issue.
More. Help you out. Jim.
So he's picking it up for
Jim
audio, the video.
has
is he? Good
Yeah.
for him.
he takes a lot of work on.
He said he
He
lives
does a lot
close
of what I
by.
used to do.
So he's okay?
It's
Or should we
recording
we should
here.
wait. We should wait then?
Well, we're gonna see just for 1 second. He's trying to see if he can,
Just tell us when you're ready.
see if he can reboot it maybe. Can you reboot it maybe? No? Yeah.
What is this, the
Because
recording? The recording or
No,
broadcast?
everything's working, it's just that these speakers are not working.
Yeah.
Yeah, when those guys were in here, everything, we've had a little bit of
Husband.
trouble.
He came from your church, didn't he?
So he's
Yeah.
broadcasting, he can hear us in there.
Is your husband
They just can't,
retired
we just have
too?
to talk loud here.
Okay, so,
Yeah,
all right, well, then we need to get that fixed.
yeah,
We need to get the guy back here or something.
okay.
Call to order Charter Township of Plymouth Board of Trustees regular meeting, Thursday, November 13, 2025, 6:32 PM. Roll call.
Trustee Buckley,
Here.
trustee Clinton,
Here.
treasurer Kermy,
Here.
not treasurer, sorry, supervisor, treasurer Dorchevitz, I was getting ahead of me.
Here,
Trustee Growth,
Here.
trustee Stewart,
Here.
clerk Vorba here. We have a quorum.
Okay, Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So approval of the agenda, do we have a motion?
Yeah, Mr. Supervisor, I move for the approval of the agenda for Tuesday, November 13th, 2025.
Second.
Second by Clinton. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Approval of the consent agenda.
Mr. Supervisor, I move for the approval of the consent agenda for Thursday, November 13th, 2025. There's no issues on there that require a roll call vote, so it'd just be by voice. All those in favor?
Wait a second.
Yeah, second?
I have a few questions about bills. Do I do that now or?
Yes.
Yeah.
later? Okay.
Let's turn to the bills page.
Okay, I noticed that there's, we keep talking about the itemization with LIV Golf. We keep talking about the fact that they are paying everything and we're getting reimbursed. I would just like to see, because I noticed on this list of bills, there's a lot to Carl's Golf Land, which
Yep.
was for staff. I would like to see some kind of an itemization of what we billed and what we've received.
You can see the invoice, you can come in and get that from Carol Rashan will have the invoice. Yeah, she's gonna talk about the budget amendment details tonight, and most of them are Live Golf budget amendments.
yeah.
Where we have
I-
revenue in and expenses paid.
I saw that, but I know that there was more than just this. I mean, there was there was wages, that type of thing. It was much bigger than that.
No, it's, everything is in here, in the budget amendments, by line. So there's not more to it than what's in the budget amendment.
Didn't they pay for overtime and reimbursement of wages?
Yep.
That's part of this budget amendment?
Yes,
All of it?
yes.
Okay, I didn't see that, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
we'll talk about it then. But anyway, that's what those Live Golf, Carl's Golf Land,
Yeah.
where we bought pants and shirts and shoes for police officers.
Yeah,
That was reimbursed by Live Golf.
I just
And
wanted,
those itemized, they're itemized, and she'll go through the accounts that she put it in, where there's an expense and a revenue.
we talk about it, I just want to be sure
Yes,
that
I
it's all
agree.
being done as it should. And then I wanted to ask why there are 2 payments to Risen Christ. Did we forget a month? The $150 storage?
Appears that way.
Yeah.
Okay,
Well, yeah, we've had some personnel changes. and
Obviously.
Yeah, and so.
Okay, thank you.
It was catch-up.
okay. And then the fire chief, there was one for TriStar Fire Protection for the install a sprinkler for $42,550. Does anybody know what that's about?
Yes, that's a progress payment for a total of, the total bill is $120,000 that we're spending to put a new sprinkler system in and repair the, because they have to take the tile out, the ceiling tile, remove and replace the ceiling tile, new sprinkler system in, and new pipes, because the pipes are corroded.
At which station?
3, Beck Road,
Okay, so it's the fire suppression sprinkler system.
inside the building.
Okay, thank you.
We've been operating without it for at least a year because of the corrosion of the pipes.
Okay.
And so they leak. So the system has been shut down. So there'll be an alarm system and a sprinkler system with piping and replace the
Damage.
the tile that is a suspended ceiling.
Okay, thank you very
And we have
much.
to pay for the materials up front, and then we have progress payments. Apparently, we don't like the progress payments. The chief says he wish he hadn't done it, but that was a contract we signed. There's progress payments. As they meet a milestone, they get paid.
Okay,
And they're in the attic now. It has been delayed for months because the summer was too hot to work inside the attic.
okay, thank you.
Okay, so I made the.
And I will second your motion.
So, thank you very much. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries.
All right. So we're at public comments, right? So, public comments. Got 3 minutes on non-agenda items. So if we're going to talk about an agenda item, don't come up here and talk about it now. Talk about it when we're at that item, because it'll be more productive. Anyone? No? Okay, we'll go on to new business, which is F1. It's the budget amendments that we briefly just spoke about with Carol Rochon, our finance director. Most of the amendments are related to the income and expense of Live Golf, which
Yes,
happened August 22nd.
The whole budget amendment this time, I kept them together, the whole thing is for Live Golf.
Okay, yeah, it's okay. Just speak loudly so everybody else can hear you, but you're being recorded.
Okay. So the Live Golf was in August, and then during the next 30 days, we billed them for our services. They had agreed upon hourly rates that we paid them, which, when you put all of the rates together, would encompass all of our expenditures also. So starting with expenditures for the general fund, first would be police, and there was some officers that worked just at the regular full-time rate, so that was $3,300. Additional overtime wages, $44,800. The Social Security to cover those wages, $9,700, and then, of course, when there's the defined contribution would also be a percentage of that, an additional $4,400. The various supplies and tools they purchased, $5,300. Additional clothing, $5,700.
In that clothing is where the shoes and shirts are.
Yes. Dispatch also participated in Live Golf. There's an additional $2,000 of overtime. Social Security, $200 for that. Defined contribution, an additional $300. All of fire's wages were overtime, $13,300. Social Security and Medicare on that, $1,000. the defined contribution, $1,500. They had additional supplies of $500 and gas of $100. So for the general fund, that would have been a total of $86,100 of additional expenditures that we're now going to amend the budget to cover.
Carol, the defined benefit portion,
The DC, the 15%,
yeah, but what about the defined benefit portion? Are we
that's a
adding
flat
that?
rate amount every month.
Pardon?
It's a flat rate every month.
So this was, Live
That-
Golf was not affected by that?
That does not fluctuate, yes. So for water and sewer, their additional expenditures, there was $1,200 of street time that instead of working on our stuff, they worked at Live Golf, so we charged them for that. Overtime of $3,300, the Social Security and Medicare that goes with that, $3,000. Defined contribution, $700, so that was a total of $5,500 for water and sewer, which would come to total appropriations between the two funds of $91,600, I think. So in turn, we also received a check back from Live Golf. The program revenue for the police hours of service was $93,000. Program revenues for fire was $24,000, and the portion that we charged them for DPW was $17,400. So we did receive a check for $134,400. So at the end of the day, the general fund had an additional $30,900 that we made. The water and sewer fund had $11,900 of revenue over and above expenditures. So in total, the township received an additional $42,800 in revenue. We had more revenue than we had expenditures for Live Golf.
Okay.
Was that expected? Or was it a
Yes.
surprise?
Remember in here, we had, especially the police chief spent a lot of hours for the 6 months before. I even spent time, and other management people, that was totally uncompensated. So
It washed.
this kind of washes out because it diverted our attention, so this is some compensation for diverting our attention, especially being the first golf outing, maybe it'll be the last, that we'd ever done, so it took a lot of upfront planning from police, fire, DPW, and me.
We had a negotiated hourly rate up front,
Yes,
didn't we?
yeah, so we lumped it, they didn't want to make it overly complex,
Yeah.
so they did a lumping thing, and we got paid.
Good.
Believe me, I was tightened up about getting paid. Wasn't as good, because a third party was the person who received the invoice, not Live Golf.
It
So,
was outlier.
yeah, outlier, exactly.
Carol, you are doing an excellent job, and we appreciate all of the effort
Thank you.
that you put into making this correct.
Thanks.
I will move that the Plymouth Township Board of Trustees hereby adopt Resolution 2025-11-13-89, authorizing various fiscal year 2025 budget amendments as outlined and attached.
Second. We need a roll call. Clerk Borba, yes. Supervisor Kermy.
Yes?
Trustee Buckley.
Yes.
Trustee Groth.
Yes?
Treasurer Dorchevitz.
Yes.
Trustee Stewart.
Yes.
Trustee Clinton.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Carol.
Moving to a planning item, which is to approve the Plymouth Flex Planned Unit Development, which is a unique industrial condominium right west of Virginia Tile, off of on Haggerty Road between
Right.
Virginia Tile and the Sikh Temple.
Right.
We are going to withdraw the, one of the documents, which is the master deed. We won't be voting on that tonight because there is
Okay.
still some language to be agreed to between the applicant and approved by our attorney. But go ahead, Kevin.
Okay, the engineering consultant has requested, because these buildings have separate offices in them, and if they're fed by one water line and one electrical line. It could create problems if there's a vacant unit within a building with
Right.
respect to electricity going out and pipes freezing. So they requested that I add some language to the master deed. That language is included in Article 5, Section C3 of the master deed. Once that language is inserted into the master deed, everything should be ready to go.
And that'll be at a future meeting, right?
Yes.
So do we need to change the motion or the resolution?
I don't think you need to change anything because the proposed motion provides subject to final authorization by the township
Okay,
attorney.
just wanted to make sure. Thank you.
So it will come back to the board again, the master deed?
You can't approve it tonight, subject to final approval by the township attorney.
So we don't need to bring it back?
If they make this change, I will approve it.
All right. Now, planning, Liz Hart, you can tell us a little bit about it. I will also want the applicant to give a little marketing and summary of what they're doing. Since this is somewhat unique, we've never had anything quite like this in Plymouth Township.
Thank you Supervisor Kermy. Good evening, Board. Liz Hart with McKenna. Again, this is a PUD agreement or a contract for Plymouth Flex condominiums. It is on a vacant parcel off of Schoolcraft Road, just east of Haggerty Road. They are proposing 4 multi-unit personal warehouses and / flex buildings, which are also being referred as flex spaces. Back in March of 2024, the Planning Commission did unanimously approve the PUD option, and then in November of 2024, the board also approved the PUD option. So that moved them on to the next step, which was securing approval of a development plan, which was approved in July of 2025. And now we are on to the final draft of the PUD contract, which is before you today for approval. As Mr. Kermy said, this is unique. The flex offices do provide the opportunity with the PUD to have like multiple different uses within this. And those can be found on in the contract, starting on page 78 to 79. They list out permitted uses, as well as number 17 says all uses of the OR, which is the Office Research Zoning District. The applicant is here to answer any of your questions, and I'm also happy to answer any planning questions. Thank you.
All right, so none of you are employees or owners, you're all consultants, correct? Oh, you are an owner, all right. So you guys pick who gets up there and give us your elevator pitch for what you're doing, why you think it's a good idea, and why we should approve it.
And please speak up because our speakers are not working.
Understood, and can you hear me okay?
Just speak loudly.
Sure.
Yeah, keep it close to your face.
How's that?
Okay.
Apologies in advance, I wasn't planning on speaking tonight, so I don't have a written elevator speech that I can give you, but I'm Mark Roberts. I'm one of the owners of the property and one of the developers that's going to be building. I've got with me our consulting civil engineer, Al Pruss, and our general contractor with Brevard is Craig Stockard. What we're proposing is 60,000 square feet of a mini flex, sort of a mini flex warehouse, sort of multi-use condominiums. There are 41 units, they're all for sale. We do offer them up to rent, but even the units that are for rent, we then offer them to sell. We offer to sell them to investors looking for return on investment, what you might call a triple net investment. The allowable uses are broad. It's just about any commercial use you can think of under the sun. That's probably a bit of an exaggeration. There are some things we don't allow. Marijuana growing and selling. We're not looking for a bar or something of the like, but we do permit retail use, industrial, light manufacturing, even food prep. Some examples of semi-recent buyers that we've had at other projects are gyms. When I say gyms, I'm referring to mostly like a personal training type gym. So not one that's got 100 people in it, but it's owned by somebody who's a personal trainer and they've got their equipment, their balls and their dumbbells and things like that. We, interestingly, one of our, I think maybe our most recent sale, this is at a similar project in Colorado, is a couple that runs a reptile rescue business. We don't expect that here, but it just sort of shows the breadth of the buyers that we have. One guy in Colorado put an auto detailing business. Another one is sells AstroTurf. They don't manufacture it there, but they store their manufacturers. In other projects, we have a lot of plumbers, painters, electricians, where we have a 20-foot ceiling, so you can stack your plumbing equipment all the way to the ceiling. A lot of the units, they'll install a mezzanine, so they'll have an office space upstairs where they do their bookkeeping and their sales, and they might have a small forklift zipping around downstairs moving their condensers around if they're a plumber, for example. We don't allow people to stay there, so it's strictly not for residential use. So hopefully I'm starting to paint a picture for you that it's an active place where a lot of businesses, you can buy it for your car collection as well. We get those, or people get them to have a place to work on their motorcycle. So it's going to be an active place, a lot of people coming and going, but I'm not picturing, we've never had like a lot of open signs where people are just driving by and they go, oh, I think I'll stop in and shop in that store for clothing or something like that. So it's a little bit more geared for as a very light industrial use than those types of things.
How do you intend to manage security, since it's an isolated area, there's a lot of valuable equipment there, and we have a very small police department that doesn't like to spend a lot of its time handling break-ins
Alarms.
or false alarms, exactly.
Yeah, understood. So we decided against a fence. So to your point, they are going to be accessible to the public 24/7. We've got steel doors, and that includes the overhead door. They do have windows to allow light through, but they're up high, so they can be grayed out or blacked out if somebody wants. And getting in is not going to be easy. I mean, we've got brick masonry up to a certain height. If somebody were going to get in or attempt to get in, they would need to go through a door, but that's not going to be real easy. I mean, it's a steel door. They're not really going to go through the masonry. It hasn't been a problem, and we've developed in very nice areas and very not so nice areas, and it hasn't been a problem.
How many do you have operating?
So the partnership is sort of a mixed partnership right now. I've personally only been involved in one other, and that was in Colorado. One of my partners who's listening on YouTube right now is, he's been involved in over a dozen, maybe a dozen and a half. And they're in Colorado, Texas, Wisconsin, Georgia, thank you. I think one other state that I'm forgetting, but they're all over the place.
So, Bob, with personal property, this type of development, tracking personal property, does it make it harder, or is it something you're going to do, or easily done?
I don't think it makes it any harder. The assessors need to knock on every door.
Right.
So I don't think it makes it any harder. If anything, it makes it easier. Because one of the problems is Sussing runs into is that when a tenant leaves, the landlord doesn't take the sign down, so they don't know that the place is unoccupied. But I don't anticipate that being an issue.
So what we need is to have people actively report to us who's there, who's the operator, how do we get in contact with them? Because some of the other places that have multiples, if someone leaves and then we don't find out. So either someone has to be responsible, i.e. the owner of the entire complex needs to be active in letting us know who's there. Because when there is a problem and we try to contact someone, we find out, oh, they left 2 years ago and there's somebody different there now.
Sure. That's actually very easy. All of our developments are professionally managed. And so they're condos, so they have an association.
Okay.
And the association is professionally managed, and they need to know if there's going to be a unit that might be cold or could potentially have, a pipe burst in the winter. The manager has access to all of the units.
Will you, as a developer, be running the HOA, or you'll contract somebody out to be the HOA manager?
That's a great question. I will not personally, however, my partner that I mentioned earlier, he's listening on YouTube, he's in Georgia right now. He does the professional management, so he will be managing it.
So this will be a little different than, a lot different than some of these industrial buildings that with multiple tenants that essentially careen out of control.
Oh, very much so.
Like a revolving door.
Yeah.
And the landlord is absent or uninvolved or uncooperative.
Very much so,
That's usually the
yeah.
case, they're uncooperative.
Yeah, I haven't been to all of the developments that he's done, but the ones that I've gone to, they look and feel very much like a well-managed, professionally managed property. Scheduled painting when it's done. We have rules on what color your door is. And we do inspections and, it's, so that means that some prospective buyers are going to say, this is not for me. I'm not looking for somebody to be telling me I can't paint my door orange because that's my company color. Well, that's what we're going to do. That's what we're looking for. We want it to feel like a well-managed, well-taken care of property.
I like what Clerk Vorba said, because even with the fire and police department, being able to contact someone, to notify someone in an emergency is really important. But I thought you said in the beginning, I thought that alcohol was basically excluded as potential use, but that's not what this says. So what is the intent when it comes to?
So let's see, I guess.
Did I misunderstand you?
Well, he said bars, he didn't say
not
necessarily alcohol.
Not bars. Okay.
Right,
but-
we're not serving alcohol.
Okay, so,
Well, number 16 says
yeah,
you
that's
probably
my
could.
concern. Yeah.
You probably
Number
could.
16 kind of alludes to the fact that you can, so I'm just trying to understand.
Yeah, I guess I'm not, off the top of my head, I'm not sure of
Number
the intent
15 and
there. I know that
16.
we've never done that.
Number 15 and 16 say you can do it.
Right. And, 16 spells out alcoholic beverage retail sales and production, including but not limited to a liquor store, microbrewery, distillery, and/or winery. So,
I think my recollection, talking to my partners about this, was not an open, like a bar with a neon light and hey, just come in and drink. I think the idea is the distillery, like you would distill the whiskey there, using whiskey as an example, and somebody can come in to buy a bottle, and there might be like a tasting here. You have a taste of this, meaning not like a whole shot, but just to get your tongue wet
But they would still need a liquor license for that. So
Yeah,
they would have to
that's-
come to us.
Yeah, that's
Of
what
course.
I'm,
And it wouldn't have like tables, you know, it's, you
Well,
might
this
taste
says
it
you
at the
could,
counter.
but I'd urge you not to do that because we're not interested in that.
Yeah.
That's one of the risks of PUDs. You
Yeah.
get this. And so we do have to be careful because we're not looking for a bar district there.
That's certainly not the
and
intent.
even if you're doing
41
tasting, that
bars.
requires a liquor license. I'm
Very
sorry,
much
Bob,
so.
what did you say?
They could have 41 restaurants and bars.
Can that be excluded from from this plan?
Permitted uses?
Yes.
I wouldn't
Well,
agree
what
with
would
that.
distillery have, Kevin? If someone's distilling, do they need a LCC license that would come to us?
I don't know that off the top of my head. If they want to serve on premises, I know they would need
They
a
would.
Class C liquor license.
Right.
Production may be a different thing.
Yes. And
I
if-
know there's a couple places that already do that in our township.
Production?
Yeah.
if the board wants to exclude on-premises consumption, that can be specified in the PUD.
Let me repeat those words. If the board wants to exclude on-premise consumption of alcoholic beverages in this PUD, they can do that, as well as gambling. Gentlemen, Plymouth Township is well-known to the Michigan Liquor Control Commission and the Michigan Gaming Control Board. And I'm not going to disclose my sources, but I have we're well-known.
So
We're real well-known.
for gambling?
For
Well, it's a
what? What are
concern
you alluding
because-
to? No
You
one
can't
knows
gamble.
what you're talking
And I talk to them once a week,
If we approve
at
this,
least.
then we're basically giving you a green light to do whatever you want, and you don't have to come back to us for approval. So I kind of feel that we need to actively exclude or limit things like gambling, on-site consumption.
Gambling is not legal.
It's not legal, yeah.
By state law, but what you're saying is number 15, you would like to strike everything but, you want to be able to have a brewery, but you don't want to be able to, see how it says restaurant, cafe, brewery, and other places serving light food and beverage to be consumed on and off site. It's possible somebody could have a catering business in there, right?
Well, that's what he
And
said that, yeah.
they'd want
Prepare
to,
food.
they'd want to sell food out for production or production workers or construction sites where people consume food.
Do any of the other facilities have restaurants or anything of this nature? It seems like it would be an odd fit
Especially in this
for
location.
this
None that
particular-
I've been to has anything like that, no.
Yeah, it doesn't
This is
seem
a
like.
It also,
Location that's
it becomes a
isolated.
parking issue as well. That hasn't been the type of,
But see, if they have liquor, they got to come back to us because there's only limited licensing and they'd have to come back to us for approval,
Right,
which we could reject.
Not necessarily.
Right.
yeah. I'm looking.
Well, no, I mean, but we could complain about it.
No,
But
the
complain-
state in the end makes a decision on a liquor license, not us. We have more of a consultancy role.
Right.
Didn't we approve the picnic basket one?
That's
Or
different. That's what we
very-
did, yeah.
Yeah,
very
But,
similar.
but again, that is
Not
just
recently.
more advisory kind of.
Well, that was for outdoor serving of liquor.
Well, no, they have like a little cafe inside of the
for
grocery
testing, yeah.
store that you can
Oh,
taste
testing,
test.
tasting.
Tasting, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I know you have to have a license, a liquor license
that.
for that. I would just like us to exclude that simply because our ability to say yay or nay later on is really not there.
is there a way to carve out, I guess when you say consumption, if I'm, tasting touching a whiskey to my tongue and, at what point is that consumption as opposed to just like trying something?
Or
before I
retail
buy it?
sale.
Well, it says liquor stores are allowed.
Yeah, but I mean, retail sale for, for consumption
You mean consumption on site?
on site.
Of course, I think it does say on site here.
Well, if you have a restaurant, unless it's another coffee shop, you're going to have,
You want some Irish coffee?
food and drink, likely.
Number 15 allows on and off-site eating and drinking. And number 16, I don't quite understand the difference between 16.
It's on the screen. Oh, it's a little hard to read.
It just spells out that the alcoholic beverage retail sales is a possibility.
I want to minimize restrictions, but still not end up with a restaurant
Well,
row.
I'm not hearing why we want to put a barrier on their ability to have those options. Like, it's just a personal preference that you don't want alcohol? What's the reasoning?
Who are you talking to?
Yeah, well, Sandy brought it up. I was curious what the reasoning was. It would be easier to get on board, got to sell it. I don't know what you're referring to.
Well, for one thing, we're talking about traffic with people coming and going, and the more type thing you have like that, the more in and outs you're going to have. And I'm not comfortable with, as Jerry said, the liquor license is an issue, but the way I read this agreement, we really are, whatever we say now is what we're going to be bound to, because we're not going to have any input in the future. That's what I'm not comfortable with that. I just think that, because that means that they can do whatever they want, and it even goes as far as anything that would be allowed in the OR zoning district, separate or in combination. And I think as a board, generally, when we approve PUDs, we should have some knowledge and input into what's going to go. I'm just not comfortable with the mix, the flex, the total openness and ability to choose and do as they choose without us having any input into it.
16 looks different than,
It does.
16 looks, go ahead.
it's more distillery.
If I may,
Talk to-
number
you near the
15,
microphone?
number 15 says specifically light food and beverage. And number 16 says alcoholic beverage. I think there is a difference there. My concern as well would be the brewery side on number 15. Maybe that would be what we eliminate, because a cafe would be able to do beverages or a restaurant, and then specifically 16 is for alcoholic beverage, which doesn't say consumption on-site or off-site.
I think it's a good spot if you have a brewery for production,
Yeah, that's what I think
Right.
too.
but I'm not concerned about production.
Which I believe 16 says microbrewery, but that includes the production. So I think that is covered under number 16.
16, okay.
Yes.
If you have, in these facilities, what's an example? Some of the retail business, light manufacturing, is that going to generate a lot of truck traffic in and out? So if you had a distillery, you'd hopefully, if you had a successful one, you'd be shipping liquor out of that distillery, and there'd be trucks coming and going all the time. I'm trying to jog my memory what these look like. Do
This-
they have?
I
It's
think
such an isolated
It's an
area.
industrial area that has trucks coming and going now with manufacturing.
Tile
Virginia
trucks.
Tile is
Yeah.
going to be getting a lot of deliveries and trucks going out since their distribution is right next
So
door.
where do they get their deliveries?
The drive lane goes in a circle, so they'll kind of stop in front. I mean,
Yeah,
I think,
I'm
keep
trying
in
to
mind,
jog my
that
memory,
our
so-
average unit size is about 1,400 square feet.
So is there's a metal overhead door, and then on the other side, you could potentially have something that looked like a retail, glass door kind of thing? correct?
Glass storefront maybe, right?
A storefront look?
No, you can't modify the exterior of the building.
So you're not gonna have a storefront look for any of these businesses?
No.
It's a solid wall
It's a solid
with
wall.
a steel door.
It's a solid wall. Yeah, it's a
And
14.
a roll-up door in addition to a man door,
That's correct.
and a roll-up door.
Yeah, it's a 14-foot high roll-up door, so you could back a decent-sized truck into it, but the average unit size is 1,400 square feet, so you can't do enough manufacturing in a space that size to load up truck after truck after truck. It's not that volume of truck that's going to impact neighbors in any way.
And Trustee Buckley, you asked the question, at the beginning, when Mr. Roberts started speaking, he kind of excluded alcohol. And then I look at this and I see that that's not an exclusion, so.
I didn't hear that. I
Yeah.
heard bar.
Yeah, that was the intent, and certainly manufacturing alcohol is something that we would want to allow.
Yeah, I agree, production.
Yeah, production.
Yeah, it's the on-site, it's the consumption that, to me, is an issue.
Yeah, so I think we decided that number 15 isn't intended to address alcoholic beverages, right? But number 16 is. And there it says liquor store, microbrew, distillery, and winery.
Could I buy a lottery ticket?
At a liquor store, yeah.
I suppose you'd have to be licensed for that,
So
to
then
sell it,
we're-
of course.
So now we're into gambling.
Well, legal,
allowed.
I
Yeah, legal
suppose.
gambling,
Yeah.
sure.
I mean, in 16, I see nothing that would allow me to serve alcohol in there. And I would be comfortable
Was
not
that
having,
excluding that?
You mean 16 or 15?
16.
You'd be
Because
comfortable,
fif-
you
I-
want to leave 16, is what you're saying?
No, he's,
Really?
I guess
What
what I'm
about
saying is,
production?
Doesn't say
if I
anything
were
about
a
consumption.
different guy, let's say I buy a unit and then I stand in front of you and say, number 16 allows me to run a bar. I think you would say, well, hang on, no, it doesn't. It allows you it specifically says retail sales and production. So I can sell you my whiskey that I manufacture there, but I can't get you good and drunk and on the road.
There's no poker.
And I think in order to sell those items, one has to taste them. And so I don't
Yeah,
think
that's-
we need to
and-
regulate that, because it's not a bar. It's not to go and hang out and get drunk, and it's none of our business.
Well, the state will regulate it if
It
it's
will.
a tasting
If you're
operation.
tasting, they regulate it.
To the Liquor Control Commission.
Is there a distinction with the state between fully drinking and just tasting
yes.
Yeah,
something
there's
you're considering buying?
A
Okay.
tasting thing is different.
True, if you go to I live near Total Wine in Ann Arbor, and I can walk in there and have a little taste of something, but if I tried to sit there for 4 hours and get drunk, that's not what they're that's not what they're licensed to
You
do.
can just keep going around.
Right.
So how do we
tip.
resolve this? We do nothing, leave it as is? Or do we make a modification at all on the fly here?
Well,
May I make a suggestion?
Please.
I see nothing here that's going to make it a bar or consuming on premise. And I don't want to be too restrictive because, I mean, this is an interesting concept. It's in an isolated area.
Very isolated, it's packed in between two freeways. Well, really,
Yeah,
M14 and 275.
yeah. And so.
It's an
not-
industrial area.
You're not going to have people going by there looking for a restaurant, just,
Although there is a truck, a food truck lot
yeah,
within a quarter of a mile.
yeah. But
You
they're not
used to be,
serving alcohol.
across the street for decades was a couple of scrap yards and junk yards. They're not there anymore, on the south side of the road.
Yeah.
And it's not a
What were you
strip
going to
mall where
recommend,
you
Kevin?
might find a bar.
Yeah, or a restaurant even.
Yeah. So the image of it being a strip mall is not accurate.
No.
You're gonna have
it's-
some businesses that people won't know what that is, even what that is.
Yeah, it's, with the developments that I've been to, they're very quiet at night. If somebody put up a neon sign, we'd shut that down
Not
fast.
allowed anyway.
That we don't allow neon
Right.
signs.
Yeah, so it's, if you heard that there was a bar there that you could go to, you wouldn't even know where to go. It's,
But your architect needs to be aware that we now have a dark sky lighting ordinance, so it'll.
they're aware. They're very aware.
Can Kevin make his recommendation? He was going to make a recommendation.
It's up to the board here to decide, hopefully in an efficient, logical way, what you want to do next. So,
I
Kevin,
agree,
you have
but
some,
he
go ahead.
was-
I was gonna make a suggestion. With 15, you could change beverage to non-alcoholic beverage. And with 16, add a clause that says, not for consumption on premises, except for lawful use as a tasting room as contemplated by the Michigan Liquor Control Code.
Okay.
Well, on 15, though, it says brewery. By definition, that's, usually breweries have alcohol.
But not if they're just brewing and distributing. Because you could go,
You said non-alcoholic beverage there, but is that in conflict with the word where it says cafe, comma, brewery?
It would permit brewing, but not consumption.
But that was in number 16, the brewing. So to
Well, it's in
me,
two places.
as the owner and developer, I would be comfortable with Mr. Bennett's suggestions, as well as removing brewery from number 15.
So if somebody wants to put a brewery in there, can they do it? Which I think is a good use.
Yeah, that would be approved under number 16.
they could be under 16, right?
Yeah,
So remove it from 15
right,
and make it non-alcoholic.
correct.
Okay.
The selling price of these are what, 300,000 to 400,000?
Yeah, they average 280, let me think, 280 something a foot. So yeah,
$280 a square foot.
that's correct. So if they
300
average
a square foot.
1,400 feet, you can spend anywhere from 300 to 500. So 1,400 is the average. A small unit is 1,200, but they go up to 2,000.
Yeah, so you're easily, at that price, you're at 400,000 a unit, an average unit.
That's correct.
But without the ability to have signage and a storefront, I can't imagine
Anyone doing anything?
anybody opening a liquor store in there that, just has a steel door. Looks like a speakeasy.
Yeah, I don't intend to say that there's no signage. You can put like vinyl on your door, you know what I mean?
Right.
But not like a flashing neon or something like that.
Which you would typically see.
All right, what is the word you're considering? Maybe we don't want to make any changes, so,
I'm okay with
Personally,
it.
I'm fine the way it is.
okay.
So am I.
Well,
So am I.
As am I.
No, it's a good discussion, but I think,
Well, you're getting the message in the sense, there has to be some reasonable honor system, although you might not be here in 10 years. You'd be sold off and went to the Bahamas or something. But we're not looking for what I would call bottom-feeding businesses that create trouble.
Nor are we. I plan on being on the management team. Of course, that's not something I've done in the past, but I'm the local representation here, and I plan on being proud of this
I
development
just
for
don't see that
decades to come.
location being a problem for this.
Yeah, what, traffic, anything in there, it's a 4-lane road, divided highway. It's very close, Livonia, it neighbors Livonia, which is heavily industrialized that way, and even the far eastern part of Plymouth Township at Eccles Road being the border.
Yeah.
And then where the site of the old Spring and Bumper site is all liquor distribution and Amazon
Right.
fulfillment warehouses. All right, so whatever blows your hair back, you want to do a motion or you want to make a change? Sounds like the consensus is we're ready for a motion, but
Mr. Supervisor, I move to adopt Resolution 2025-11-13-90, authorizing the adoption of the Plymouth Flex Planned Unit Development, PUD, and contract as recommended by the Planning Commission and subject to the final authorization of the Township Attorney.
Second.
May I have a second?
Jen said.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't
Yeah.
hear you, Jen. Okay. Supervisor Kermy,
yes.
Treasurer Dorchevitz,
Yes.
Clerk Vorba, yes. Trustee Buckley,
Yes.
Trustee Clinton,
Yes.
Trustee Groth,
No.
Trustee Stewart.
No.
Motion carries. Thank you very much.
So before you go away, what is the date that you're planning to break ground?
Beginning of February.
Oh, that's quick.
And remember, we had some confusion over trees. Bryvar, where we had a tree cut down that we didn't want cut down. We don't know, there was some confusion. Tree number 403 is planned to be saved. And put that in the minutes. I think on the original documents, it was planned to be cut and removed, but we need a closed loop communication. We lost a good tree in the summer, and it might have been because of confusion, although some people say we'd had to cut it anyway because of the excavation for the sewer. So we need to keep an eye on that. Who's managing the project? Is that you? Yes, sir. All right. So let's just tag up on trees and make sure we got every box checked. Because once they're cut, it's too late.
Yeah, indeed.
And some of the trees that are there are red oaks, and they're susceptible to oak wilt. So you got to be careful when you do trimming, or you got to do it now, or you got to do it in the wintertime.
Wintertime.
Because once the weather warms up beyond April 15th, then there's a risk that they'll get oak wilt, and they'll die anyway in 30 days.
Is 403, is that the one that's got the caution tape all around it?
Yes.
Okay. I noticed that.
So I intervened to hug the tree, and then we put the tape on there. And the planning department, you're gonna watch that also, please. Building's not here, but the February document said the tree would be cut. And that was the document that was used for 402. Because it said, be removed when it got removed. All right. So
Thank
much
you
for
all
tree
very much.
hugging.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Okay.
F3.
So now, item 3, which is a presentation from Hydro on commercial. They're probably not going to do a presentation on commercial, but we're going to renew the contract, and then the next item, number 4, they'll give us a little talk on what they're doing with residential, which is the source of some controversy in certain neighborhoods, because it means people have to spend money to certify their sprinkler system for backflow protection. Go ahead.
So, good
Patrick
evening.
Felrath.
Hello, good evening. Our current contract with HydroCorp for non-residential, commercial cross-connection control services expires pretty soon in January of 2015. So what you have before you tonight is a request for approval for a 3-year extension of a contract with them for 3 more years. If you recall what a cross-connection control program is, it's mandated by the state of Michigan to keep us in compliance with the Safe Drinking Water Act. It protects the public water supply. A cross-connection is any connection between a non-potable and a potable source. So those have to be either controlled or they have to be prevented. And so this program, again, mandated by the state, requires us to periodically inspect all our non-commercial, our non-residential water accounts. As Supervisor Kermy mentioned, we do have representatives from HydroCorp here tonight, and they can give you an overview, I think, of the services they provide to the township, both residential and commercial. A little bit more emphasis on residential because it tends to be more controversial. It's a newer program, if you recall. But HydroCorp has been around for a long time. They have been our service provider since 2010, when Wayne County stopped performing these services on behalf of the communities. And they are the primary service provider for cross-connection control still in southeast Michigan. They do all our neighbors, Canton Township, City of Plymouth, Northfield Township, and they may even do more of our neighbors, Livonia probably. But, so maybe this is a good segue. I mean, the contract, the agreement is pretty straightforward. It's providing the same services as before. It's a 3-year contract with a 4% annual increase. And it's more, the commercial is a pass-through type agreement. The commercial accounts pay for this service. They have a line item on their water bill. They pay an annual fee for cross-connection control. Okay? So with your permission, I think.
Yeah, right.
HydroCorp-
Explain what backflow protection is, that it, in a layman's terms, and what the risk we're trying to prevent, or the state of Michigan is trying to prevent with this legislation.
Well, certainly.
I presume that's part of your presentation, right?
Yes, we did prepare some slides too. I don't know how easy it is to.
It's easy if you have your laptop with you.
We did bring the laptop, just in case. But I don't know if he needs to go to the back room or where we.
No, just bring it up here, I'll connect it, and we should be good to go.
I'll be right back. You want to pause?
No, go ahead. They gotta get hooked up here.
Oh, yes, it's you. Jerry, do you want me just to hit that button?
It should be,
I can just, it's the east.
should be the east.
East podium, yeah, just hit that button.
The one time when this really was important for backflow protection was in August of 2023, when we had a blackout for several days with no water available, no water pressure. That's typically when you get this problem, when there's no pressure in the line.
You mean in 2003?
2003, I forgot, when did I say?
I was gonna say, I
2023.
don't
No,
remember that.
2003, it was
Was
50
that
million
town?
people had no electricity.
Almost the whole eastern half.
Well, while we
of the
get this
country for
connected,
3
in the
days.
meantime, I'll do introductions. So I am Cody.
Get close to the
You
mic,
need to be near the mic.
because the people who are
apologies.
watching on YouTube won't hear you.
It's crazy.
If you want to take this to the side, see if it can get it connected. Worst case, we don't have the slides. So good evening, everybody. I am Cody with HydroCorp. I am the Director of Operations for our Cross Connection Division. So I was going to go over the importance of a cross connection program, where it stems from, and why it can. So as Patrick mentioned, the cross connection programs, they stem really from the Safe Water Drinking Act originally at the state level. It states that every municipality must have a program in place, not only for commercial, but residential as well. The language in the Safe Water Drinking Act simply just states all premises must have all cross connections either eliminated or protected. Residential makes up the majority of any water system. Typically, it's going to be 80+% of your users on any water system. Although they might not be your highest consumers, we want to ensure that any possible cross connection that could exist is protected, whether it is commercially or residentially. As mentioned, so a cross connection is simply, could be something as simple as a garden hose. A garden hose on a residential spigot put into a bucket of car wash soap. They're filling up the bucket to wash their car. If that garden hose has no protection on it and backflow occurs, it could then siphon that soap back into your drinking water. Not just the house, not just the neighbor's house, but back to the distribution. Most commonly, how that occurs is due to loss of pressure on the system. So it could be something as far as a main break. It could be the flushing of fire hydrants in the area. Or another good example is a fire in the area with multiple hydrants being used. It creates enough pressure loss that it then creates a vacuum on the water system. So your garden hose, ideally, when pressurized, water comes out, right? But you get that pressure drop, it now gets siphoned back into the home, back to the distribution. Commercial is always the biggest aspect of any community, right? Because you got your industrial users, you got chemicals being mixed with the water, you got antifreezes, things of that nature. But with residential, a lot of case studies have shown that irrigation systems have polluted whole neighborhoods, causing E. coli breakouts, things of that nature, and essentially making many people sick. So the services we provide currently right now for Plymouth Township is both commercial and residential, with the residential consisting of exterior inspections, looking at all exterior connections such as garden hose connections, lawn irrigation systems, pool fills, pond fills, essentially any water connection that would be on the exterior of the home at this time. Commercially, we do a full internal and external inspection of those. So any connection within a commercial facility or on the outside, we do ensure that backflow protection exists for any cross connections or cross connections are eliminated. This is done by either installing different backflow devices, assemblies, or utilizing methods to prevent any type of backflow from ever occurring on the water system. Also for the services, we do mandate all testing of backflow assemblies. So backflow assemblies are required by the state to be tested on a frequency, generally annually, unless it is irrigation residentially. That does fall under a different specified frequency, and ensuring that those backflow assemblies stay maintenance essentially and repaired to ensure that they are working properly. On average, if you have a backflow assembly, it's not uncommon that once every 5 years it does need repair. They have common parts inside of them that are made of rubber, plastic, and anything else, and they wear down. So that's why these programs are very important to have in place, to stay in place, not only because they're mandated by the state, but even if they weren't, it is extremely good practice to ensure that the water system is protected at all levels.
So one suggestion I have is there's been a lot of resistance from some homeowners thinking that this is some moneymaker for Plymouth Township. It's not, and it's unnecessary. And it's true. We've lived for 100 years of public water system, and I've never known of anybody other than on a farm where they haven't. I know somebody on a farm that polluted their well when they were filling up the tank sprayer. It siphoned into the well, pesticide, and industrial uses where I see them filling up tanks for spraying lawns. That is a risk because the tank is up high and it can siphon back if they had an issue. But anyway, I recommend that homeowners associations investigate getting the inspection done by one company, negotiate a price per house, and that way everybody knows the price, they know the supplier, they don't have to panic. So that's something that homeowners associations ought to be doing for their residents, organizing the cross-connect, the backflow preventer inspection, which costs, $60 to $120 reasonably, but other people have overpaid much more than that, so.
Well, doesn't the HydroCorp maintain a list of certified inspectors?
That is correct. In the notification that gets sent out for testing, it does contain a website that any water customer can go to find a list of certified testers within the
Yeah,
area.
and to Chuck's point, I've heard people say pricing is all over the map. Whatever they think they can get from you is what they're charging.
Yeah, when it comes to any testers, we can't, we don't really have a base on their pricing for any testing of that sort. It's just simply they more so state that they do testing in the area.
Could you, approximately how many firms are on that list?
I don't have that answer at this time, but from the previous list I've peeked at recently, normally it's 20-plus testers on any given list for any community.
Would it be possible to put a price on there with along with the contact price of a basic inspection?
So we would want to stray from including any price on that testing, simply because it more so is being biased on our part. I know we don't dictate their prices, things of that nature, but I don't want to say company A charges 300, company B charges 100, and then company A is now coming at, towards HydroCorp saying, well, now nobody calls me. I do understand that, yes, it is in the benefit to have a
Well,
price
that's what
in
I'm
a
saying,
sense.
call them and have it on there, because that would help. That would be really helpful for our community, because I do get a lot of complaints directed in my office that they charged me $120 and my neighbor only paid $75.
Yes, we do. If any water customers call in, we always suggest calling at least 3 of the testers on the list to obtain quotes, to get the different types of price ranges. Other things that are very helpful is utilizing like your neighborhood apps, things like Nextdoor and things of that sort. A lot of them actually do talk about testing, especially residentially, and they'll mention testers and their prices on there. I can always look into possibly including a price on that test list, but at the same time, it's very difficult due to price fluctuation as well, so.
One of the risks is that you have an unscrupulous inspector who tells you that it is defective in an effort to get a $500 repair fix. I don't know how you police against that. That's where if the HOA that has 200 houses negotiates a price with a reputable inspector and then a separate company to do the repairs, so you don't have that built-in conflict.
Yes, it is hard to guard against any type of testers taking advantage in that sense. We do take any complaints serious from any water customers or the township themselves that you receive in regards to any testers that may seem like they're price gouging or not truly conducting the work efficiently, saying you need to replace your backflow preventer when truly it might be working fine. We do our best to then safeguard against those attempts, but only from once we're notified at that point.
What, do you have an average of how many do have to get repaired?
I don't have an average on hand how many get repaired, but depending on how often they are tested, for example, if they're tested every 5 years, it's safe to say 4 out of 10 are going to fail just because the parts do wear down.
Big number,
Yeah,
40%.
I know we were.
I would say
we
at
were
least
one that
40%
had to have-
on average for a 5-year testing cycle.
I was like, what? Well, we know because we're residents and we've experienced this. I had to have mine replaced. And me and my neighbors all texted each other, who'd you go with? What'd you pay? So we're coming from experience, but thank you guys. Thank you.
All right, we're going to vote on these separate, right? Right. We have item 3, which is the commercial side, which is Resolution 91. So do we have any questions from the board? And then after that, we'll do questions from the audience. Nothing on the board? Any from the audience? No? Okay.
Mr. Supervisor, I move to adopt Resolution 2025-11-13-91, authorizing the professional service agreement between the township and HydroCorp for the implementation of the non-residential cross-connection control program, and authorizing the supervisor and clerk to sign the agreement contingent upon review and approval by the township attorney.
Second.
Second by Dorchevitz.
I have a question. It doesn't, well, I guess, where does it say the duration? Is that in the resolution? Yeah, 3 years?
Yeah, 2 to, yeah.
Okay, we
yeah,
got
3
that covered. All right.
Supervisor Kermy.
Yes?
Trustee Clinton.
Yes.
Clerk Forba, yes. Trustee Buckley.
Yes.
Trustee Grove.
Yes.
Trustee Stewart.
Yes.
Treasurer Dorchevitz.
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you very much for that part. Now,
So item number 4, which is the residential cross-connect that most of us are more familiar with. Go ahead, Patrick.
Yes, so for the residential contract, we have an existing contract in place with HydroCorp, and built into that contract, there is a 1-year automatic renewal. That is an option that we like to put before you tonight for approval. And the 1-year renewal is at a price increase equal to the CPI, which is 3%. So this would be a 1-year renewal, and then next year we will come before you again with another longer-term agreement, much like the commercial.
I think we need to define the CPI. I mean,
Yeah.
what date are you going to take it on, and what publication are you going to use?
Yeah,
The
'cause-
Wall Street Journal, or?
last year, it's done by the, done by the state and the state treasury department. And last year, it was 3.1. This year, this coming year, it's going to be 2.7.
So why don't we use the same one that the assessing department uses?
I agree.
That's on the,
That would
what do
work.
you call that? On your notice of assessment,
For taxes, for taxable.
right, which is CPI, I think that, is that regional?
It's done by the state
The
treasury.
state does it, but I think it's based on regional, but you got to define something with, where you're going to get the CPI calculation. I guess I should have brought this up earlier, and we would have been better prepared, but.
Yeah, the renewal clause just indicates any increase in pricing for each of the renewal periods will be equal to the consumer price index at the time of renewal. So this is the time of renewal, I guess, or, I mean, this contract expires soon. I think I have the expiration date here, December
Fifth,
5th. So you can really, do we wait till December 5th, or do we just take what the CPI is today?
Well, the
I
upfront,
don't
For
even
the
think we
board
know it
approval.
with the government shutdown having been for 40 days.
well, this is the state. The state has already said that it's going to be 2.7.
They've announced it?
That's
That-
from
this
tre-
is the
from
assessment.
Assessing said it was going to be 2.7. Remember I sent that out?
Right, so we need to
That's-
define it.
Yeah. That's their best guess.
So, will you want to add into the motion, if Hydro Corporation will accept it, that we would use the, is that the state tax tribunal that puts that out, or is it?
Yeah.
Not sure, that comes from state treasury.
Okay, state treasury for, tax assessment
Yeah,
notices?
yeah, it's,
If we want to add that in there, this is the time to do it.
Can
So
we
there-
just say as specified by the state treasury? Because then that means you got to check that every year, whatever the rate is.
Let's take a little pause here and see, are you looking something up?
yeah.
Yeah. Of course, they've got to agree to it. You probably don't have the authority to do it, but we can do this tonight, and my judgment is when you take it back to your bosses, they will understand and they will agree, but it's less than 3%. And if they don't like it, then you can come back again. But I think that they will, it's a studied number by the state treasury, and it's used statewide as the factor for taxable value increases for the upcoming year. So we just complicated it, but when you're talking about CPI, you got to define where you're getting it. And I apologize, I should have thought about
Yeah,
this.
I'm sorry, I just assumed it
I thought
was the
it's-
federal CPI that was issued on the 24th of last month.
And why is this a 1-year versus a 3-year agreement?
Well, the agreement is a 3-year agreement, but they had a 1-year automatic renewal at this
So we're
at this
approving the
rate.
1-year
Yeah, we-
automatic renewal.
Correct.
What we're trying to do is get a name.
We figured it's the best
Get the
interest in
right
the township because
terminology.
of the CPI.
When you go back in the morning tomorrow, they'll say, what the hell did you do?
The U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics is probably that's the basket of goods approach.
Then we have to go, do we have to make an adjustment to it versus just grabbing the one that the state does?
Michigan, specifically Detroit, the official source for the CPI is the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics for the Detroit, Warren, Dearborn metropolitan area in Michigan.
That's even more sophisticated than the state one, because that's tailored to the region, right?
Yeah,
So that's why you gotta define it.
right here.
So if we use the consumer price index for the
'Cause we-
U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics for the month of, you're gonna pick December 2025? They haven't done it for a couple of months because of the government shutdown. They haven't calculated it.
Can we just say 3% or the CPI as designated by, whichever is less?
Yeah, you can do that, but how do we, Kevin, is there something that we can make this so that it's clean and we don't have to come back and do this again? We know the document, or we know the source, the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, right?
Yes.
Yeah, but there's also the, in Michigan, there's, this is what I was looking for. The Michigan Center for Data and Analytics.
Okay,
This
let's,
is more specific to the area. And this goes into detail as to different
oh my
categories of.
God. Well, you want to leave it at 3% or you want to say where you're going to get it from?
Say the Consumer Price Index, U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics as of the end of the calendar year.
I mean, December
2026?
2024, isn't it? I mean, 2025.
Yeah.
It runs February to February.
Should also specify if you want to use the all items or all items less food and energy, which I
Yeah,
believe
so
is
I mean,
called
you wanna
core
be
three.
careful.
Many different. See,
Yeah.
you're having to remember all that stuff you learned in college that you thought you'd never have to know again in economics. Here you are using it.
Oh, yeah.
Never say never.
Yeah, this is the February 24 to 25 CPI, Michigan in the U.S.
What was it? It was,
Oh, it's not shown on the screen. What
oh,
happened?
because I got it on the,
Well,
me
if it's
change it.
Michigan, it's probably greater than the average in the US or something like that. So, all right. Let's do that, bud. Whichever is less.
Yeah, just to clarify, the contract says, as I mentioned, equal to the consumer price index at the time of renewal, or 5%, whichever is less.
Well, it's gonna be less than 5%.
yeah, it's,
It's 3, it's very close to 3, maybe slightly lower.
well, we just approved a 4% for the commercial. 3% is 1%.
Let's do this.
Let's make it 3%.
Let's make it 3%,
Yeah.
but for the future, we have to have this defined.
Yeah.
You're gonna come back here, is it next year?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay, so your assignment is to get it defined,
And
tell
so-
your boss you had a close call, we need to be more sharp, and he needs to get his salesperson or his attorney or whoever writes his contracts to sharpen up on this, and we will too.
Sounds good, will do.
So do we want to strike the word current CPI out of there?
Yeah.
We're going to strike current CPI and just call it 3%?
Okay.
Yeah, technically it's less than that right now, but
Yeah.
it's so close.
I move to approve
very
Resolution
close.
2025-11-13-92, authorizing the renewal of the professional services agreement between the township and HydroCorp for the implementation of the cross-connection control residential program for a period of 1 year at a 3% price increase as set forth in Section 4.2 of the existing contract.
Second. Treasurer Dorchevitz.
Yes.
Trustee Stewart.
Yes.
Trustee Groth.
Yes.
Trustee Buckley.
Yes.
Clerk Vorba, yes. Trustee Clinton.
Yes.
Supervisor Kermy.
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you very much.
So next year, it's got to be sharpened up because we're not going to agree to just a number.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Will do. Thank you all.
All right. F5, this is the trash collection fee increase. So we last signed a contract in 2022 at $15.75 a month. It started in January of 2023. The contract has a 2.5% annual increase. I don't know why, but we haven't increased it since 2022. So I'm recommending that we increase it by 50 cents, a round number, to 16.25 cents per month, effective in January. Our objective is to keep this fund whole. We're anticipating that when this contract expires in September of 2027, that we will see an increase again. So I'm recommending that we implement this increase now in January.
And so that will go until September of 2027
Well,
unless we
gotta
vote
look-
otherwise.
We'll have to watch because they still have potentially 2 more increases that they can implement on us at 2.5%. So we got to see how the fund is doing. We can't let it get dangerously low, but we want it to be well-balanced with a little safety stock for surprises or, let's say we have an emergency thing where we have to do some special pickups because of a storm or something. We want to have a little money there. So that's my recommendation. Do we have a motion? Well, hold on. Do we have any questions? Any questions from the board?
Straightforward.
Any questions from the audience?
Is this for a 2.5% or a 3%?
It's really 3. Because
Okay.
we've gone 2023, 24, now we're to 25. We've had 3 increases that we haven't, that we've absorbed. Well, this will be the 3rd one. We didn't absorb the first 2. We absorbed the first 2, which were 2.5.
I'll kick in the 50 cents a month. I move to approve resolution number 2025-11-13-93, adjusting the trash collection fee from $15.75 to $16.25 per month, effective with the January 2026 water billing cycle.
Second.
Second by Clinton. Trustee Buckley.
Yes.
Trustee Clinton.
Yes.
Supervisor Kermy.
Yes.
Treasurer Dorchevitz.
Yes.
Trustee Groth.
Yes.
Trustee Stewart.
Yes.
Clerk Vorba, yes. Motion carries.
6, which is our regular agenda, approving meetings for next year. There are no study sessions scheduled. We'll do those as required. We will have had one this year, which is going to be December 2nd, the joint meeting with planning, which is kind of a work session, although we're not going to be making any decisions, of course. What we've done here is we sent this out to all of us. I don't recall getting any feedback.
Yeah.
And we've gone to April, July, August, November, and December with one meeting.
Okay.
I think we have one extra month in 2026 versus 2025 with an extra meeting.
Yeah.
So any comments, any changes you want? Some big events coming up in your life or whatever, we can make a modification if we had to.
Mr. Supervisor, I move to approve and publish the 2026 meeting schedule for the Charter Township of Plymouth Board of Trustees.
Second.
Second, okay, by Buckley. Supervisor Kermy.
Yes?
Trustee Clinton.
Yes.
Clerk Forba, yes. Trustee Buckley.
Yes.
Trustee Groth.
Yes.
Trustee Stewart.
Yes.
Treasurer Dorchevitz.
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right, F7, which is the Zoning Board of Appeals meeting schedule for 2026. And the reason we're doing this is there was no meeting because there were no applications for zoning appeals
For the past couple months.
for November and December, and by law, we have to have a meeting schedule before the end of the year. So we are proposing these. Jerry, these, you're on the ZBA,
Yes.
correct?
Yeah, and these are, when we usually do it is this, in that first Thursday of the month. And then, like. in-
January was the exception.
Yeah, and so, because of the holiday, but, if we don't have, by the first Thursday of December, if we don't have any issues, then we don't have the meeting in January. So it's always a month ahead of time.
So for people's background, most ZBA, Zoning Board of Appeals, is for setbacks, if you have an addition or building a porch or something. Used to be fences, but now that we have 6-foot fences allowed, we don't have very many fence appeals that show up. So,
Mr. Supervisor, I move to approve and publish the 2026 meeting for the Charter Township of Plymouth Zoning Board of Appeals, ZBA.
Second.
Second by Groth. Treasurer Dorchevitz.
Yes.
Trustee Stewart.
Yes.
Trustee Groth.
Yes.
Trustee Buckley.
Yes.
Clerk Forba, yes. Trustee Clinton.
Yes.
Supervisor Kermy.
yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, item F8, which I'm asking your permission to prepare a request for proposal for general counsel services. That's the things that Kevin Bennett does. Kevin Bennett is fully aware of this and is fully cooperating with this. We have had since 1993 the current contract. I was even here for that contract. It's amazing. And before that, I think, Kevin, we had firms that were related. They were predecessors to your firm, I think, going back maybe 40-plus years.
Yes.
Now, this is not for prosecutions, which my intention would be to keep Kevin doing prosecutions, and it's not for labor. Labor, we have a separate attorney, John Clark, currently. So what I'm asking for, before we spend the time and money and effort to do an RFP, I want to get your endorsement that we should proceed with this. So we can have some discussion.
Sure.
We can hear what anybody has to say.
Mr. Supervisor,
Hold on a minute, please. Try not to interrupt.
No.
I wasn't
I worked with
interrupting you.
Mr. Excuse me,
I
please.
wasn't interrupting
Okay,
you.
John.
I spoke
just-
before you said
okay,
anything.
Yeah, he did. Just let's,
Go ahead, John. What is it you
John,
want to
what is
say?
it you want to say? We're not going to make a motion yet. He's going to,
My comment is, I have worked for the township, with the township attorney, Kevin Bennett, for decades. I find him of the highest degree of intellectual honesty. Let me finish. I have talked with many clerks, including Eileen Pulker from Oakland County and many township attorneys across Michigan. And it's a source of politicization,
What's a source?
picking a township attorney. You have proven to me that you have had an intellectual honesty. You, Mr. Supervisor Kerming, have proven to me that you will look at that as far as the professionalism of Kevin Bennett. It's inherent in this motion that we don't just sit here with someone and deny his existence. So I will support the motion, but I do want to give credit to someone who I have had a lot of experience with the last last 41 years.
Yeah, you were on the board in 1988.
Yep. But I'm just saying, from a statewide perspective, this is a source of politicization, and Sandy Growth trustee has raised the issue of politicization. I don't think she raised it strong enough, but that's my positive viewpoint. So I'm hoping we can proceed with a intellectually honest, working, practical experience of an attorney who appears to have worked well with you, Mr. Supervisor.
Exactly. This has nothing to do with.
Okay, I move to authorize the township.
Hold on, don't.
We're still talking
Oh,
about.
you have other comments?
Yeah, I don't
Other
think,
criticisms?
I don't think this is necessary. I don't think there's politicization,
That word.
whatever that word was.
Politicization.
Kevin has served across multiple administrations effectively. He's very astute at knowing when to interject himself and when to not interject himself. I don't think we have a problem that we need to fix here. He's got great institutional knowledge. If we bring in a new attorney, they're going to start from nothing, and they're going to know nothing about the history of some of these projects that have gone on for years and years. I don't know what problem we're trying to fix here, and he is certainly not political.
So you're supportive of the resolution?
No,
No.
Oh, you're not?
no.
Okay,
I don't think
I
this-
respect
No problem,
that.
nothing.
No, I said the exact same thing. I mean, if you get a request for proposal, be careful what you wanted, right? You want to make sure that if.
You don't have to accept these
Well,
quotes.
then same thing, why do it? I mean, it means meaningless if you don't actually do, if you don't redo a request for proposal and you get a different price, we could be in trouble. I would.
Oh, you're
I
going
would
to get
vote
a
no.
different price, I'm sure.
Yeah, I would vote for no.
My metaphorical pretrial brief discussion with Counselor Bennett, he did not have a problem with supporting this resolution.
He doesn't decide.
Right.
I agree with both Clinton and Dorshevitz that this is seeking to solve a problem that doesn't exist. As the treasurer has said, there's great institutional knowledge here. When you look at all of the resolutions that we've done, all the policies that we've done, everything that touches and concerns all the interactions of this local government, Kevin has had a hand in that. He's written many of our ordinances, and so the institutional knowledge is so valuable. And when you put on top of that he is giving a price that's probably half of what his hourly rate is on the street. And so I think this is, although it's always a good idea to go out and get bids on stuff, this is something trying to solve a problem that really doesn't exist. And I'm going to be opposing the motion if it's put forward.
So how about if we don't make a motion?
We can do that. We can choose to,
You always have that option.
Yeah, you have that option. Typically, you have a desire to make sure you have some succession planning within your organization. So I'm anticipating that eventually Kevin will be slowing down his business and that the township needs will be greater than he'll want to provide.
we can address it at that time.
And then you'll have to stay on and train whoever the new people are.
Of council.
Unless we do an RFP and he submits one with higher rates and he's the winning bidder, then I've just screwed him.
And because right now the contract gives a 30-day out for either party. And then there's a maximum amount that can be levied against the township in total. I think it's 200,000. So, and I think we've never crossed that threshold.
No, to trustee Gross' point, if it's not necessary, then it's necessary not to do this motion.
Right.
If that's your pleasure, I'd rather go forward with it and be prepared for the future, but the board makes the final decision.
Thank you for that, Chuck.
So we're going to have to we're probably going to have to make some changes because our responses, we have a lot of people interacting with the attorney, and we need to control who's doing that and how much it's costing us and what projects are being done. We're going to have to come up with some way to better control our legal interaction and tracking our requests.
But at this time, if I may say, Mr. Supervisor.
Because we do it all by email now. I mean, it's just, everybody's doing an email, but I really think we need to have a tracking matrix.
But
I've been against the fact that anybody can just call up the township attorney and say, tell me your opinion, and you're on the bill of the township. I've been against that
But
all
that's what's
along.
going on. But anyway, go ahead,
Okay.
Jerry.
At present, the bill has never been so gross that there's a problem. And so when people have a legal concern, especially in my department, when you have FOIA stuff that is very, very serious in nature and that you have to address, you get a legal opinion on it so that you don't get sued. And so whenever I'm inquiring and stuff, it has to do with contracts and FOIA information. When someone is seeking to, like the Metro Act, he reviews those and makes sure that they're correct and that they're administratively correct, and that's an appropriate function for that. So contracts, he reviews the contracts. But the 9 years that we've been here, that I've been here, I've never seen a bill so gross that it's really a problem. And anything that's out of line when you consider that he's billing us at probably half of what his market value is.
Okay, I think all requests for legal opinions through the township attorney ought to go through the supervisor.
Well, that's not necessarily, no.
No, I know.
We need to come up with a way to tighten up the system, and we need to improve the turnaround time from Kevin's firm. And we need to know exactly where a particular request is at any particular time.
Well, and
Typically, that's software, or you could use a spreadsheet, but I don't know how to do that. But I know that we can work on that. But one of the motivators is timing and control, because Kevin does everything he's alone.
right.
Right.
And
But he's
when
got,
he's on vacation, or he's not, he's
Oh,
ill.
Demopoulos takes
okay,
over.
Greg Demopoulos is in that office. It's been my 40-year experience that I'm hoping you've had the same experience, that in 24 hours, and I mean that literally, in 24 hours, Kevin Bennett returns his phone calls.
Yeah, but you can't rely on one man. So that's what I'm trying to do, is to try to bolster our backup. We don't have,
I would
I'm
suggest,
trying to improve the depth, to have a bigger firm, but
I would,
It'd be,
If Kevin
it'll be
wins
more
the-
expensive, I know that. But,
If Kevin wins the lottery, is what you're saying?
well,
What gets a hole in one?
Well, when it comes to price, I understand what you're saying, that we're getting a very good value for the money. But we cannot use that as the only guide. We've got to be sure that all it takes is one late or one mistake, and it could cost you hundreds or millions. So, it's up
Sounds like a
to,
fire issue.
pardon?
That's what we've been saying about fire.
Well,
for
fire doesn't
years.
cost the township money.
No, but we're one mistake away.
I would suggest that you, Supervisor Kermy, come up with a recommendation that you can present to us in regards to the policy as to who has the authority to, because I'm sure it's difficult for Kevin too, not knowing, is this approved? Is it okay for me to talk to these people and do this
I
work, or
thought
is
we
it
all
not?
had
So-
the right to legal counsel.
Yeah,
as-
so
as
you need
trustees.
to come up with.
Well, we have to be careful about managing that. You cannot have an attorney on call. I know you've done this sometime since I've been here. You've called him up on some of the things that I've done. And
That's appropriate.
we need to manage it, not
Yeah, I
every,
feel like this conversation is very vague because I don't know what the specifics are. I think
the specific
I
is
asked Bennett
time of
once on
turnaround and
email.
control of legal requests and depth in the law firm.
But you said in the beginning that someone is doing something a lot, and it's just very vague. I'm trying to follow the smell here, and I'm
No,
not.
this is all
Is it
about
the
depth.
clerk's department and the FOIA requests?
No, this is about depth of the firm, having more people as backup or with other skills in a larger firm. It costs more money if you do that, of course. But my concern is we're getting a lot of complex things that maybe we need more help. And so that's what I'm doing here.
Well,
And I know this is uncomfortable for Kevin, but Kevin and I have talked about this at length for months. And it's not a surprise to him that
So
this
you
is on
feel
my
that
mind.
something's broken, but.
Yeah.
it
You know, the
doesn't
code
seem
of-
like
the code of
anybody else
ethics-
is.
Broken, it's called constant improvement.
Yeah.
And anticipation of the future and succession.
The code of ethics would require the attorney to let us know if he couldn't handle something. And so, is that not true, Kevin?
That's true.
Okay.
Well, there's use of counsel.
I don't even know who the of counsel is for Bennett and Demopolis.
He has a wide network.
I've never used them, so I don't know. All right,
As do I.
And I would make the recommendation that we not move forward with this issue.
all right, so there's no one is going to make a motion. Is that correct?
I'm not.
Or we're not going to have a second. All right, so then we're going to work on improving our current processes.
That's okay.
Which need to be improved. And that'll be partly my job, but also partly the rest of the full-timers, so that we manage and not have a situation where we are left without legal counsel in an urgent manner. We'll figure that out. Kevin and I will work on that. Kevin has always been willing to work with me, and we want to do the right thing. So this is the way the process works. You're talking about policy? The board has to approve the RFP before you go out and seek alternative sources for professional legal services. So if the board doesn't approve it, we're not going to expend the effort to develop it.
Okay, I just have one question,
Very
because you made a
mature
statement.
way to handle that.
I think you were directing it towards me.
What, directing what?
About using the attorney
No.
on issues, okay.
No.
Because as board members, it's not just full-time people, but we as elected should have the ability to talk with the attorney when we have issues that need to be
Right.
addressed.
But we
Okay.
should have, we've got to have some control over that.
And that's fine, that's why I suggest you come up with some
Yeah, I-
suggestions.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's very difficult because a lot of things come up, and I know you want to, it's good, it's a judgment thing. If you have a rigid cookbook, just about the time you have that, you have an exception. And
something.
What discretion would there be? Let's say I had an issue with you and I wanted to talk with
Yeah,
with
that's
Kevin
where-
Bennett, but I have to get your approval?
No, that's where
That would
we
be-
need to have a off-ramp. So that's exactly the right example of where we need to have an off-ramp, because this happened to me back in 2014 and 15, was I was effectively shut out from anything, the legal counsel, and he was used, it was politicized at that time, and they tried to use him as a weapon against others on the board, and it wasn't successful. So to answer the question, I totally agree that we need a policy, or we need to know the practice, because if you have a question, you should be able to ask it, but you can use Chuck as a gatekeeper if it is not something that
Is routine?
yeah, or it involves, hey, I need to talk to the attorney because I think the supervisor's stealing. You don't have to go through them for that example.
Sorry to use you as the
I agree.
example.
So,
Okay.
all right, so this has
Okay.
been a little uncomfortable, I'm sure, for Kevin, but I'm thinking it'll be instructional for what Kevin and I need to do, and the rest of us, to improve the process and make some changes so that we can, but managing by email is not an efficient way to do things. So that's my concern, so. And I'm so over busy that I don't want to have to write, emails and worry about when did that email come?
Put him on staff as a full-time attorney, $1,000 less than supervisor. Take a look at what's going on around the state of Michigan. They're appalled that the department heads aren't in your office, your supervisor's office, working hand in glove with you.
What are you talking about? I'm sorry.
What I just said, I'll repeat it again.
Yeah.
I have
Who's
talked to other
appalled?
township officials, starting with Oakland County,
Yeah,
and retired clerk Eileen Pulker,
yeah.
PULK, and former head of the Michigan Clerks Association. And they're appalled that the department heads are working hand in glove with you inside your office.
What's wrong with that?
They should be coming and working, I'm saying something positive to you.
Okay.
I would like to have a dime for every time I have told a citizen in Plymouth Township, go talk to Chuck Hermy quietly on a Friday morning at 10 a.m. He's very approachable, even more knowledgeable. The inner township, I have nothing more to say.
Yeah, I agree. We're willing to heighten the communication. And yes, there is an open door, but it does put more stress on me to do that. But in long run, it's more effective when you have a conversation. I have had several department heads said, I don't like conversation. I want you to send me an email. And that is a little unusual, but
It's also
that's,
not their place.
but that's what they want.
They said they don't like conversation.
Yeah, they want an email. So, anyway.
Okay.
So, all right, we're gonna do nothing on this,
Correct.
okay? So, any comments from, let's see, where are we? We're at
Comments from the public.
public. On anything, you can say anything you want. Here. You got 3 minutes. Okay, we got nothing. Then we got board comments. Let's start with Jerry Vorva.
Oh, thank you very much, Mr. Supervisor. I wanted to speak about something that some of you know about, is that I received an award for keeping good, clean voter rolls, and that wasn't just me. I mean, they put my name on it, and it's a very pretty thing, but it wasn't just me. It was my staff and volunteers and the public. And I think it's important to note that I don't think there's anything that government does, whether it's the police department, fire department, you name the department, there isn't anything that government does that can be done well without the cooperation and good work of its employees, without the cooperation and good work of volunteers, and without the good work and cooperation of the public. You hear the police say, if you see something, say something. They say, gee, I see this suspicious person. Well, the police wouldn't have known about that without that. A neighbor sees smoke coming from their neighbor's attic, they call the fire department. It goes through every department. And so you can't really effectively do anything well without that kind of cooperation. Well, and then the reason I'm talking about this is because I saw on Facebook some bantering back and forth about this award. And I just wanted to clear the air. This year was a non-election year. And so what my staff did was to take all of our voter rolls, that is the hard copy files, and go through them from A through Z. They would pull a card up, bring it up on the computer, compare the signatures. So if it's been a long time, maybe we send the person a notice, hey, can you come in and give us a new signature so that you don't have a problem when it comes election time? And there's been several elections where we had 500 of those situations where we had to call people in, and sometimes people's vote doesn't get counted because the signature doesn't match. So they check that. They check to see whether or not the person has voted in a long time. If they haven't voted in a long time, then we can send them a notice saying, is you or is you ain't still there. And so we send out hundreds of these notices, and we get them back, although the notice says you don't have to contact us. I don't know why it says that, but it does. It's statutory. But then we're able to determine whether or not that person is still there or not. And then if we don't get an answer and they haven't voted in a long time, we can put them in a verified status, that we can challenge them so that if all of a sudden that person shows up to vote and they haven't voted in a dozen years, we can ascertain, are you really still there? Are you still that person? And can you prove that you are registered at that address, still a resident of Plymouth Township? And some of them we can then cancel because you give the appropriate notice as a process that you go through. So during this past year, we've removed some people, we've put them in challenge status, we put them in verify, and so we've gone from A through Z in that because it was a non-election year, and it would have been nice to have more staff that had done it more effectively, but we were doing that, and we were able to send out hundreds of these notices in order to verify whether someone's a duplicate. I mean, sometimes we would not only run the name, but we'd run the address. And so you would see that person was there, but there's other people at that address. So maybe they've moved and never registered somewhere else, so you send the notice out. Sometimes when you do that, you say, wait a minute, this is Mary Ann Smith, and this is Mary S. Jones. Same date of birth, but two different people. Well, they've even changed their name, they got married, but they're a duplicate in the system. And so then we would merge them. But first we'd send them saying, are you that same person? Yes, I am. No, I'm not. And then if they're the same person, we merge them. So you get rid of the duplicate. And so throughout the year, we've been doing that process. On top of that, we had a couple of citizens who on their own volition brought in affidavits that I'm not sure where they got them from, but saying that we think this person doesn't live there anymore. And one of those persons was Bill Ikes. And so he brought 100 of these affidavits in, and we ran them through the system. We did that same process where we checked to see if the person was there, had they voted in a while, run the address, is there someone different there, is it something that needed to be merged? And so when, not only did he do that, he came back and checked on it. So he went through the effort of checking on these places and then went through the effort of coming back and checking to see the status. I've never had anybody do that. So I thought it was appropriate to mention that to the board that one, we received the award, which is very nice. And I wanted to mention the effort that, again, this was a citizen who did this. Again, I saw something, I said something. So it's true, no matter what we do, we rely on citizens' efforts. And I just wanted to make sure that, that the public knew and that the board knew that Bill had taken this, not only the step, but an extraordinary step in doing that. And so I want to purposefully, again, commend him for that, and also commend my staff for sending out hundreds of these notices, because we went from A through Z through our card file to ascertain whether people were really there. So again, thanks to Bill, thanks to my staff, thanks to all the volunteers we have, and thank you guys for supporting us in our efforts to have good voter rolls.
When, can we have a document that shows how many Bill Ikes submitted and how many were taken off the roll?
It was about 100, and well, there was just a few taken off the rolls, but then we sent out notices.
Fewer than 10 of them?
Yeah, fewer than 10, and some of them
Well, they were only taken off the rolls because it wasn't the 2-election cycle?
Yeah, sometimes. So some of them were already removed. I mean, the system already removed them. But we removed some that he found. And then there was probably another 4, and I didn't keep tally. I didn't keep a scorecard. We just went about our business. The goal was to say, oh, look, we did 500. We didn't think about doing that. We just kind of went by our process and did it. And so I know there were a good 30 or 40 or so that we, because of what Bill gave us, we sent out those notices, and then we challenged those people. So that person can't go and vote without proving that they really are a resident. So, I mean, that's helpful. I mean, that's 30 or 40 people. Now, 10 of them were Unicava, so, and that's just.
What's that mean?
Military.
Yeah.
They were military people. So even, like, someone could, I could be living at my house for 10 years, and all of a sudden somebody else is registered at my house 10 years before that. Well, that person was in the military, is stationed overseas. They get to vote at the last place they were registered, even though they haven't lived there. And I'd go, wait a minute, this person doesn't live here. Well, by law, that's where they're registered to vote. Sometimes people will be like a doctor. He's doing his internship someplace else, but he lives, his last resident was here. He could even rent his house out. It could be taken off homestead. And you go, well, the guy doesn't live there. No, he's in Texas doing his internship, but he still wants to vote here because he still owns that property, even though he's renting it out and working in Texas and getting a Texas driver's license so that he can pay no taxes, because they have no taxes on income. So there's all kinds of scenarios where someone could not live there and the person thinks, well, no one's been there for a long time, but they're someplace else. Same thing with students going overseas or students being someplace else. It can happen for years, but they get to be registered at the last place that they were, as long as they're not registered somewhere else. So because of the effort of our staff and the assistance of people like Bill who did that, I just wanted to mention him because he came back and checked. Hey, how's that going? Can you tell me anything? So I thought it was appropriate when people do those kind of things to mention him. So thanks to Bill, thanks to my staff, thanks to all of you guys for supporting our good election process here. Thank you, Mr. Supervisor.
Sandy?
I just learned that our longtime payables person, Mary Ann Truesdell, retired. And I'm curious to know what is being done to replace her. I mean, where are you status-wise with finding another person to do that job?
We're searching. A clerk's employee is volunteered to do 1 day a week, right, Jerry?
To help out.
And we're searching for a replacement.
And we do have
This is
an
accounts
interview.
payable.
We do have an interview next week.
Okay, I would like to, first off, publicly thank Mary Ann Truesdell for her years of service to the township. She's been here for quite some time. I appreciate her diligence, her work ethic, and her attention to detail, because she did an excellent job. And I would also like to ask that, and I'm not trying to put more on you, Chuck, but it'd be nice to know when an employee leaves. I worked with a lot of those people, but it's nice for the board to know, first off, that there's a vacancy. And because people ask, well, is the township hiring? I don't know. I have people telling me that the township is hiring. So I would just like that to be more communicated. And then I want to ask, I've been getting, oh, did we hire a new firefighter to replace?
Not yet. They're
Are-
being interviewed.
You're doing interviews?
I'm not part of it at all. It's a little bit of communication with the fire chief. He's working on it, is what he said. And we're having soaring overtime.
To replace what? You didn't finish saying?
We had a battalion chief retire, so they promoted someone else to that position, but we need to hire a new
Entry level.
firefighter, entry level, so that we keep the numbers the same. And also, I have been getting these strange emails, OneDrive, online documents.
That's a fraud. Delete it.
Voicemail, well, but I'm mentioning it because I have sent a couple of emails to our IT person, Bob Jenks, and no one has responded to me.
Click
So-
on the phishing thing in the upper right-hand corner, and it'll be sent automatically to him on a screening system. It's called phishing.
Well, I just wanted to know the answer to what this is, because I'm not opening it, but
Good.
It's phishing, it's
I
trying to
just
get
want,
you.
and does the same
Ignore
apply to
it.
the SharePoint Copilot?
Yes.
Online
it.
notifications? So it's all stuff that we
Yeah,
need
it's
to
fraud,
just delete?
delete.
Okay, just wanted to know.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Everybody's
If you get a
bombarded.
document, if you get something with a document that says open this, and you're not expecting it, don't open it.
Okay, that's kind of what I thought, but I just wanted to be sure.
Yeah.
All the stuff from
Because even about
Dorchester,
voicemails, it says I have voicemail.
Yeah, no.
the stuff from Dorchester's I just deleted automatically.
Oh,
It's
okay.
junk, that's what it is.
But what
It's
about from
total
all these
junk.
other strange people? Thank you.
Bob, you have anything to say?
Just pulling my hair out, getting taxes ready, and they'll be in the mail to arrive on November 30th or December 1st. So just the usual basket of issues
Merry Christmas.
dealing with, yeah. People are paying off their sidewalks. We probably had about 100 that have paid in full. And that's it.
Personal property tax. Progress on collecting the rears.
We've made some. Kerry is tracking companies down and making calls, and they're paying. We've had some. That's kind of my big project for when I start getting some downtime, is clearing off that back docket, because there's so many. I gave a list to assessing, and I asked them when they went out to do their canvas this year to make sure those businesses are there, and they came back with a lot of them that were no longer there. There might be a business that says, Dr. Smith's office on the door, but Dr. Smith moved out 5 years ago, and the landlord never took the name off the door, and assessing knocks, nobody opens, so they just say, well, they must have $5,000 worth of equipment there, and they move on to the next one, and we need to change that. Because the biggest problem I deal with
You mean
is,
change assessing's process?
yeah, we need to change their diligence in following up to ensure that businesses that they're taxing really have that personal property on site. And if they have to make multiple visits, they have to make multiple visits.
So what do we need to do? Organize a meeting with assessing's bosses? Because I
already-
don't want that, if they're creating work by randomly guessing, that is not a good idea.
I've had the conversation, and they've done a lot better this fall.
Well, they're doing that, they do it in December, they do their walkarounds, right?
They started, I think in October, and tax day is December 31st, but they started canvassing in October. So I'm not sure what order they do it in.
Well, assessing typically is not a place where a lot of paradigm shifts happen quickly, so I think we need to talk to them.
Yeah, okay.
Because they're used to a cookbook kind of thing, and we need to change the cookbook here because of his generating a lot of inaccurate information. That is no good.
I must get 20 to 25 calls a year saying, either we're no longer there or I don't have any personal property. And that's sometimes their fault for not filing the proper forms, but I get a lot of calls when I send the bills.
So urging small businesses tend to be these entrepreneurs that say, I can do whatever I want, and they throw that thing in the trash. It would be better for them if they reply, because otherwise it's assumed they have personal property that's taxable, and then it starts a process. And then they get upset when they get a bill that cannot be changed.
Yeah, and I think it's more of a case of they're entrepreneurs, so they're doing everything and they don't understand that. If they have an accountant, a lot of times the accountants don't understand that. But the state has a firm fixed date of February 20th, and if you miss that date, too bad for you.
Yeah, it's not like negotiating with somebody to buy a new lawnmower.
Right.
They're not gonna change it for you. So, I know some small business people that say, oh, ignore that, I don't have to put up with that, government. But then it ends up in a problem.
Yeah,
And they could make it go away by filling out the boxes that says, I have less than $80,000, and I think what is the other one? 180?
If they have less than 80, they only have to fill out the form once. If it's between 80 and 180, they have to fill it out every year.
What they used to teach you in school, follow directions. All right, John.
I'll read my comments. Number one, 100% vote in support of confidence in Township Attorney Kevin Bennett. Number two, and perhaps the most important, it is a great privilege, and I can't thank you enough for the opportunity to serve all the citizens of Plymouth Township and to vote in their best interest. Number three, we are less than 48 hours away from firearms hunting season, November 15th. It's a huge day in Michigan. Please be safe. 58,000 deer car crashes last year, 20 ended up in fatalities. If firefighter Tacoma brings back a deer, I want to hear about it. Or any other member of the police department. And speaking of the police department, Lake Point homeowners had a meeting attended by over 65 residents, all-time high. The supervisor was there, and my wife was just overwhelmingly impressed with his candor and brevity. She also greatly appreciated the presence of Chief Jim Nitel. And to end my comments, I have been trying for years for the employees to have a physical fitness program. I know that Trustee Buckley is strongly supportive of physical fitness, but Chief Nitel walked in with Police Officer Christensen. And I know that Sandy Groth and my wife would like to see Officer Christensen and firefighter Drew Loudon lead a program commencing in January of 2026 of physical fitness for the people of Plymouth Township. That's all.
John,
Thank you very much and good night.
John, I'm bringing somebody in to evaluate our gym, and there's been somebody appointed from the police department and the fire department. We're going to do that next week and see what equipment we would keep, what equipment we might add,
I
and
can make a few recommendations.
anyway, we're working on physical fitness. We've gotten the room cleaned up. Amazingly, it wasn't being cleaned by the janitor service for decades.
Are you talking about the one
right
upstairs?
Right up there, yeah.
Yeah, it smelled like sweat.
Wonder why.
So it's being cleaned now. So, anyway, we're thinking about physical fitness, and we're going to do something.
Good, let's fix up that room.
Yep.
I could use it.
Jen?
Yeah, so on that note, our Veterans Commission meeting for December is canceled due to lack of agenda items. However, come the new year, speaking of physical fitness, John, I encourage you to come out to the Armed Forces 5K Ruck March, which we did in 2024. We had to sideline it last year, but it'll be back in 2026. It's a great opportunity for the community to come together, patriotic neighbors in support of our first responders and veterans, and do something that's, hard and difficult, and solidarity for all the tough stuff you guys go through on a daily basis. That's the premise of the march. And then I just was curious, where are we at with the fire study?
I'm going to talk about that.
Okay, I figured it's been a hot second. And then I saw on the bills that we paid for an advertisement for an assistant finance director. Is that different from the payroll?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so have
So
we
we're
had
down
one
2
before?
people.
Yes, we did. It was Carol Rashawn, and
That's
she was
right.
promoted to finance director.
Okay, got it.
And then the payroll person is a part-time person. They left on October 29th.
It's a payables person, not a payroll person.
Not payroll, payables, exactly, duh.
Yeah.
Payroll is also part-time, but that person is still on board. So accounting is a one-man show, one-woman show right now.
Trustee Buckley, you've had a chance to talk with a lot of the firefighters from what I hear, and Jim Harrell's retirement is this Saturday, and he's been a model as far as a professional firefighter. 2 o'clock, Elks.
Oh, thank you. I didn't know that. Appreciate it.
Picked an odd day. They picked opening day of deer season. Anyway,
Not everyone's paying attention to that.
I'm all set.
There are.
I'm good.
you're all set?
Yeah.
December 2nd, we're going to have a joint planning commission and township board meeting. Which of you are not going to be attending on that Tuesday, December 2nd? You're a maybe,
I'm a maybe.
all right?
I'm anniversary.
Okay, you're out. We hope to have some productive thinking. There's been a lot of confusion and dissatisfaction with certain things that go on in planning, so maybe we can work some of this out, and maybe we'll make some changes in the future.
Mr. Supervisor, I apologize.
Yeah.
We had one of these meetings a few years ago with the previous supervisor.
And everybody got upset because,
The trustees were up here,
and it was look down there.
and the optics were bad.
Yeah,
Is
so
there anywhere
we're going to
we
be
can
down
in a
there.
conference room?
Everybody's going to be down there.
Yeah.
We'll set up the tables
One
down
guy
there.
quit after.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah, we'll
That
set,
is high, that's respect.
okay. Everybody will be down there. It'll be a working meeting. So people can stand up, like I like to stand up and walk around and stuff like that. We might do some of that.
Burpees, push-ups.
Yeah, exactly. USA Hockey's going to have a special Plymouth Township 10-year anniversary that they've been here on November 21st. Don't know all the details yet, but they're going to have something there, drop the puck or whatever. I haven't talked to anybody yet.
Oh, can I make a plug real quick for that? That's our event. So on November 22nd, the Veterans Commission will be doing a fundraiser for Chuck a Puck, or not for, but for our commission for our,
That's on a Saturday?
yes, it's on a Saturday. And literally, all the proceeds go to the Veterans Commission, and someone gets to chuck a puck into the arena. I won't be there. We'll have two of our other commissioners there. Oh, and I didn't mention that John Lockwood stepped down, so we have an opening, another opening, so two to fill.
Two.
Two to fill, yep.
ESCI, which is the fire consulting company, that contract has been signed, and the next step is for Fire Chief Conley to upload data, which will take some work. They have a website where the data is uploaded electronically, and he will be working on that beginning this November 17th. He is ill today, that's why he's not here. So we're beginning that process, and I'm even going to ask that they interview Harold as part of the study. Since he's been here a long time, he may have some insights that could be useful. So that's what I have for now. Anything else? Motion to adjourn?
Mr. Supervisor, second. All in favor?
Aye.
We're adjourned.
So, happy Thanksgiving, right?
Yeah.